Hello, all, and welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hope you guys are having a great day. Today, we are going to talk about one of the trends that's really not talked about in the national news within the United States, and that topic is Americans moving to foreign countries. Now, it's not anything new, but I find it to be one of those topics that's not talked about a lot because you have your Americans that go to study abroad. You have the Americans serving the United States throughout the military, going abroad. But you never hear about the Americans that, and just regular working Americans. I'm not talking about the big, rich Americans that go overseas and open up partnership corporations with other uh, foreign nations and whatnot, and foreign companies and all that good stuff. No, I'm just talking about your everyday working American, your everyday working person that just needs a job to get by. And a lot of times, obviously, with the student loan debt and the credit card crisis, a job just barely gets them by, because they're consistently making payments on the credit cards, consistently making payments on the student loans, and with the interest that's tacked onto it, a lot of times they die paying those two things off. Whether in majority of the time it's the student loans that people end up dying paying off nowadays. So it's crazy. So the paradigm of Americans moving to third world nations is actually certain situations it's a good thing because you have a lot of virtual jobs out there, especially the virtual assistants. And then you have a lot of Americans that are moving there and they're okay, so the virtual jobs don't pay a lot. But the caveat to that is, if great example, if you're making 30,000 to 35,000 to 40,000 in Southeast Asia, Central America, South America, or even Africa, that money goes a long way compared to making 30 to 35 to 40K within the United States. And I don't care if you're even living in one of the cheapest states within the United States, your money, it does not compare, because if you're living in Southeast Asia, let's just throw that out there. Southeast Asia, the yearly income is usually between $900 and $1,700 a year. Okay, and a lot of times as Americans, we don't even think about these kind of things because we're so wrapped up in our everyday lives. But $900 to $1,700 a year, think on that. So if you're making 30 to 35,000, the 30,000, the 45,000 dollars a year, that money can go a long way with the cost of living in a third world country compared to making that kind of money in one of the cheapest states in the United States of America. Even say if you're living in South or North Dakota, because there are states that are cheaper to live in compared to even the Carolinas and Mississippi and Alabama. So there's a lot of places, Michigan, Ohio, very cheap states, Nebraska, very cheap states. But the caveat is, because a lot of people would rather do that, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that's been done so much, and now a lot of times those areas are becoming overpopulated. But a lot of people don't discuss what the real driving factor behind Americans moving to third world countries making this kind of money, because not only one can their money go longer and they have a higher chance of paying off credit cards and student loans because of the rent or their mortgages or however the bills are being paid within these foreign countries are 10 times lower than living in anywhere in the United States. That's why you even have a lot of Americans retiring in third world nations, because the American dollar is much stronger in third world countries than it is in the United States. Something to think about. And the great thing is, because what another great thing is with virtual jobs, you essentially has created virtual communities. And when I say virtual communities, I'm talking about people that are working for the companies like Amazon, American Express, Bank of America, CVS, Enterprise Car Rental, Citibank, Xerox. All these people, Citibank, yeah, I already said that. All these people that are working for these specific companies, it's like, in a sense, you could think of it like a military family community. Like they work for these companies, so it's like being in the military. You're on the base. The family communities are on the same base and installations. So in a sense, everybody ends up getting to know one another. It's totally different. It's like a community from work, family, playtime, whatever have you, little league, all those things that just wrap up into whatever people do within their lives. It's sort of done as a community. So you have people from all over the United States. We'll pick one country. We'll say the Philippines. In the Philippines, and they're all working for virtual companies, and then a lot of times a lot of great things end up happening. Then they start collaborating. Then in a sense they start creating their own little mini Silicon Valley, and they're starting their own tech companies, tech startup companies, and not only are they empowering themselves, but they're even empowering the countries that they're staying in. So they're even creating jobs and bringing jobs to those countries, and they're helping in a sense improve the quality of life in those countries while their quality of life is improving financially. They don't have to worry about having as many bills. They don't have to worry about chasing the dollar so that they have to make six figures just so they could have a little extra money at the end of the year, or just so they could take that vacation to escape from the life that they don't like at the end of the year. Because that's another thing that's not really talked about a lot either. A lot of Americans that make a lot of money are constantly going on vacation so they can escape the life that they don't really like. Something to think about. But anyways, so I think that is amazing that you have a lot of this happening with a lot of people, and they're taking a chance, they're taking a risk. They're just and that's what it's going to take in the society with us millennials, with the cloud generation. It's taking risks. We can't the job market's not doing the same thing that it used to do 20, 30 years ago. So why the hell are we as workers doing the same thing like it's 20, 30 years ago? It is not the time of 1985. It is the time of 2018, but we got to act like it's 2030. It's a whole different concept. But let me stay on on topic here, and because I know there's going to be people that will take these virtual jobs and they want to stay in the U.S., and that's fine. There's about 26 states that you can do this in. And a lot of these states, I don't think it's even worth it unless you have some other supplemental income coming in. Because for a lot of single mothers, obviously, this is ideal, to be able to take care of their children, work from home. It's like I said, I think it's great, but at the end of the day, the mindset is not to just do this for the rest of your life. You do it for a little bit in order for you to pursue other things. But I think if you're a single mom, or if you're just a mother in general, or a father, hey, whatever, everybody gets credit, and you're trying to raise your kids without having to put them in school, because a lot of people are doing homeschool nowadays and putting them in daycare. I get it. You want to be at home with them. You want to give them the education that you feel that they deserve while meeting the state guidelines, whatever state that you live in or county that you live in, and still be able to have a job. So I get it, but look for that exit strategy, because, like I said, we live in the time of exit strategies. You have to think like a corporation. A corporation, a lot of times, they have an exit strategy to a specific investment, to a specific project, to a specific product. We as people, whether we're business owners or employees, we always have to have an exit strategy, because you just never know. There could be an economic downturn. There could just be a specific amount of downsizings because of automation. All these things play a factor in our everyday lives, and it's just something that we should think about. So that's why with a virtual job, it's like an Uber driver. It gives you the freedom to do other things. As long as you do your job, you don't have to worry about having the average boss breathing down your neck. Hey, what are you doing, Larry? Hey, why'd you go to the bathroom, Larry? Hey, how long were you in the bathroom, Larry? Hey, why'd you go to lunch, Larry? Oh, yeah, you're allowed to go to lunch. How long were you at lunch, Larry? Where'd you go, Larry? Like, all that kind of nonsense. The performance appraisals. Did you get it done, Larry? It's just, like I said, you don't have to worry about these things. You're just free to do your job. And then if you have other goals and aspirations to chase, you will end up chasing them if you have the willpower to do it. But the 26 states, and I will read this off: Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Illinois, Indiana, Florida, Georgia, Kansas, Kentucky, Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Virginia, the state that I reside in. So who would have thought, right? But those are the specific states that you're allowed for the most part to have virtual jobs. Other states have restrictions. Did not do the research on why those other states have restrictions. I'm surprised that California wasn't on there, but hey, every state is different. They have their own thing, but given the fact that California is one of the biggest tech states in the United States, I would imagine a lot of virtual jobs there. But I digress. Anyways, a lot of virtual jobs. It's like I said, it's not only helping people get by, but it's allowing you to take it to the next level. And if you want to take it to the next level, if you just want to be a worker and an employee all your life, I hope that you at least get other skill sets so that the fact that you don't have to be so dependent on a virtual job, because you never know, a company might go belly up. They might no longer need your services. They might just ship out the virtual jobs to people within a foreign country so they can pay them less wages. So it's always, like I said, you always have to have that exit strategy. A lot of the Americans that are living in these foreign countries, they are doing one thing, and they are making the money, saving the money, investing the money, because a lot of times Americans can't even afford to do that anymore because they don't have the excess cash. So when you have excessive cash, you do two things, three things with it. You save it, you invest it, and then you see how you can innovate it. That's how I look at money. That's how money should be utilized after the necessities have been taken care of. And of course, obviously, you buy yourself something that you want every now and then. You don't need to be a freaking hoarder when it comes to your money. But I would recommend that you have some sort of innovative mindset when it comes to your money and what you feel is best for you and your family at the end of the day. And another great thing is, I read off the countries that are actually benefiting from Americans coming to their country. One of the Americans that are actually benefiting from living in those countries, making 30K a year. So like I said, it's a different mindset. It's a different time. Stop letting the people fool you into thinking that it's the time of 1985 and the good old days are coming back. They are not. Don't care who the president is. Don't care who the president will be. They're not coming back. Just keeping it real. It's not even getting political. It's just keeping it realistic. Look around you. Look at your bills. Look at your salary. You do the math. It's all individual based. So India, Sri Lanka, Philippines, Pakistan, Nepal, Uruguay, Morocco, and parts of China, because there are very expensive parts of Beijing is considered probably one of the most expensive cities within Asia. So it just depends on what kind of part of China that you're going to live in and work in. So just bear in mind. But obviously, you have to do your own research and figure out what works for you. Everybody's different. If I was in the same boat and I had those kind of debts, I probably would end up moving to a foreign country, because being broke is something that I can't afford to be. That was a quote I heard a long time ago from one of my favorite artists, Royce da 5'9". He said that, and I quote, "Being broke is something I can't afford to be," and I couldn't agree with that more. So if you find yourself in that position, there's always options out there. There's always money to be made out there, because it's not always how much money you make. It's how much money you can save, how much money you can keep. That is real. And a lot of people don't ever look at it like that. They just look at it like, I got to get this dollar, I got to get this money, got to get my salary up, got to get this up. Well, what are your expenses? What are you usually spending it on? Because I always say, it doesn't matter how much money you make. If you're bad with money, you're bad with money. That's just what it is. I always say that. These people that are moving to these cheaper states, if you suck with money in an expensive state, most likely you're going to suck with money in a cheaper state. You're just going to have more stuff because you're just going to buy more crap. But hey, people like that are good for the economy. So, well, who am I to say anything? It's a joke. But anyways, so at the end of the day, there's obviously more upsides to people having a virtual job, whether they're in the U.S. or whether they're in a foreign country. But I'm really going to read this off for the ones that are in a foreign country. You always know when you're getting a paycheck. Having a virtual job helps you keep a schedule, even when you're probably working from home, or you could be working from a cafe. That's the beautiful thing. You could work from anywhere. You could be leaving the gym. You could be on the treadmill. It's just having that freedom. A lot of times, it outweighs not having to get up at a specific time in the morning to get on a major busy highway in the morning. A lot of people get up from their virtual jobs, or a lot of times, depending on the country that they're in, they have to work at crazy hours because they have to work at nighttime, because obviously there's a big time difference between Southeast Asia and the United States. But they can just get up, they're in their pajamas and they're clicking away, or they're on the phone or whatever the heck that they're doing. But it's just more of a relaxing, mellow lifestyle, and quality of life matters a lot, because obviously you could have all the money in the world, but if your quality of life sucks, then essentially your life will suck. There's no other way to put it. I'm just keeping it real on that one. So, but another advantage that you can have is it can always makes it easier for you to get a visa, and shows the stability, and you're seeing. And when I say stability, it's showing stability in regards to you in that country or countries, and you're seen in a positive light from that foreign government, and then depending on who you are, what you're trying to do, and where you're trying to go, if you're trying to do business with a foreign government, it obviously will behoove you to try to develop relationships with the foreign government. Now, I wouldn't know anything about doing that. I've never done that, but I would imagine if you're trying to do business in a foreign country, you want to establish good relationships with a foreign government, and then therefore you might be able to get foreign government contracts. You might be able to set up a specific factory, a tech hub, who knows? But the possibilities could be endless. The sky is the limit when you think outside of the box. And a lot of times, and for this video's purposes, when you live outside of the box, because like I said, those days are over with. Go to another country with the attitude of I'm an immigrant and I came here to make it happen. I didn't come here to slouch. I didn't come here to just be on the internet. I didn't come, to watch stupid crap or look at somebody going live and getting turned up at a party. I didn't come here to just watch movies. I came here to get it cracking. Look at it through the eyes of an immigrant, because when you go to another foreign country, you're the immigrant, and that's a beautiful thing, and that's a great way to just try to make it happen. But that's just my opinion, because I made this video to say it, and I stomped my feet on it 2 times, 4 times. We cannot live like we are in 1985. It is 2018. We must get on the program like like next year is 2030. We have to think and live outside of the box. Options are a beautiful thing. Don't hold anybody back. Don't allow anybody to hold you back from what you're trying to do. If you're thinking and living outside the box, or attempting to think and live outside the box, do it, because you got one life to live, and don't ever allow anybody to stop what you're trying to do and how you're trying to progress. And if any bougie people bring negativity to your circle, X them outside of the box. I'm Larry Patterson. This has been Larry's Anything Goes, and I hope you guys have a great day. Please subscribe if you haven't, like, and please share my videos at the same time.